Alright, now we're here. Sorry, Marcos. Yeah, the power was out until like 3:30 in the morning or sometime in 3. So that was it took a while for it to get back on. But I'm glad you popped in, Marcos, to tell me that. I changed, or some of my settings I got reset, I think, and so that usually defaults the microphone to being off. But Seneca, if you're telling me moves in the game, one, it's not really ethical, but also it's delayed, so by the time I move, it's not really going to be helpful most of the time, unless I'm taking... I mean, I would just lose on time if I was actually waiting. Alright, now we're chilling. So I think what we do here is... Oh yeah, he just resigns. So we're up to what? 1289, so... Off to losing extra 9. So I gotta let him do that so I could open up this rook. Which is not good what I'm seeing. So I actually have to do this. That, because he's going to take there, so I was going to lose the rook regardless. I don't even know what that... I don't even know what you're trying to say with that. Alright, so we're going to go here. Threaten both these guys. Goes up to there. We take... This guy's pretty bad. It's good that he is not good. Yeah, but Clara, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, so just entirely collapsed. Alright, so... I think we're up a pawn, so... He obviously can't go there. Can't go there. So now we just have to be careful and get our king up. And I think we're okay. Yes, we go the long way. I think we actually do this. And we go there, but we're okay. I shouldn't have done that. So I kind of messed that up, but it should be okay, maybe? Maybe not. No, we just draw. Unfortunate. Yeah. It's a draw. It's still a draw, brother. Alright, he's not gonna. It's just. Oh, did I actually mess it up? No, I'm still chilling. This guy's just wasting your time now. Alright. We'll just keep pre-moving. Yeah, he just wasted our time. Unfortunate for him. I messed that up. I could have definitely won that since I was up a pawn. I think I was in a winning position, but I messed it up. Probably was a mistake, but tis fun. Actually works besides dot. I kind of played that poorly though, which is good for me. He's still not able to take that pawn. Drop down to here, block the rook. I would like to go up to there. Not sure why he did that. So we'll go there to just see what we can do. Actually, I think that was the best move. Because he can take up here. I can retake with the knight or with the queen. So I think he might just kind of lose. He has to take the pawn. He's in check again. He has to go up there. I think this is checkmate. Yep. So he just decided that he did not want to win. His or she, I don't know. Yes, you never know nowadays. Oops. Oopsie bazy. Messed that up. Thank goodness this guy stinks. He did just never noticed that my rook was just hanging. He just decided he was too cool to take it. Alright, so but go here. Decided that he did not like that knight either. Alright, we're gonna get back to 1300. This guy just blundered everything. I really just want to start sacking my pieces, but that strategy's not really working out too well for him. So probably not good to double down on that. But we can push his pawn up. That should be it. I guess he has to do that. So now we can actually just take this, since that's pinned to him. We go to there. Yeah, let's go up. We're vibing. I mean, he lost all his pieces, so he's in a rather poor spot. Yeah, let's say. I don't know what that is. Oop. Hmm. Attack here just to break these pawns apart. See if we can do something. What's that? Bangladesh. Really should have just went down to there. I'd like to go there or lose my queen. That's also a possibility. Yikes. Oh, yikes. That was bad. But forked himself, thankfully. So he doesn't have much time left, which is a good thing for me. He's gonna want to drop down, maybe. Okay. I don't need to do anything. Okay. There we go. He messed that up really bad. Yeah, no, we don't rematch. All right. Probably need to move this pawn up if he's going to push that pawn to open that up. Move this guy over. He's going to kind of get that pawn. I don't know if I'd have to give something up. But we'll just move up to there. Down a pawn and down time. So we gotta play a little bit better. So we're still okay here. Can't take this pawn now, but we had to protect the bishop. Go to here. Threaten that pawn. You could have also do that and then immediately resign. Also a possibility for him. All right. So I could have just moved the bishop back down, but so I'll probably move the trade with the assumption that he does exactly that. And right to here. Move over here because he's got the bishop threatening my life, which is not very nice. Okay, he just blocked himself, which is certainly a move. I don't know if it's the move, but it is a move. Over there, just make sure nothing crazy happens. Good right there. So this protects both pieces, actually. So in theory, we have two forms of check that we can give if we can. He's not really interested in allowing that to happen, so we have to dance around a bit. You could push to there. Go ahead and trade. He has to, yeah, so he has to address that because that'd be no bueno for him. Alright. So you might want to push over here to protect his passed pawn. And it looks like that's what he wants to do. Which actually that was the best move for him. Let's see what we can do though. Okay. Okay. We figured it out. He's probably just gonna... Yeah, beginners should. I am certainly not an expert, but yeah, the more time you have to think, the better you can play. When you play like blitz like this, I find it usually more fun. I've played more rapid lately, but I've been getting more into blitz again. I used to only play blitz, and I played chess a little bit growing up, so I have experience playing it, but not at a very high level, just as a kid. And I find like the time crunch more. I mean, obviously for like time purposes, if I'm playing for a little bit, then it's nice because it goes faster, of course. But there is the added benefit of time just being kind of like a fun aspect of it. All right, so you messed that up. So I can give him a check there, or I can take the rook. Kind of a weird thing to say. We're actually going to do this. Make him have to move. So then we're not able to take the rook. Oh, unless he does that, then we can. That was certainly not the play, I don't think. So we're chilling right there, actually. Yeah, he's just all kinds of messed up. Yeah, I mean, so we give her that pawn, but when you're up this much material, is not a big deal. And this should be the game. I mean, you can see my username, so if you send a game invite, we might be able to. I think I got one. Alright, just let him have everything. Five-minute chess. I assume this is you, mister. I assume it is you. Whoops. Darn. Oh well. Played okay and then blundered at the end. I wish it was a good game. I wish I didn't blunder so stupidly like that, but can't do much about stupidity. Dumb is what dumb does. I have that in spades. You're probably right. I didn't think my position was really that good in general. But yeah, you're probably right. My man really wants me to blunder my queen. I shan't. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, very, very long time. So 31 now. Since I quit basketball, I have been lifting basically nonstop since I've been like 15 or 16. Really like 15 and a half. Or like like winter of my age 15. Olympic weightlifting for like what? 6 years? 7 years? I don't know. A very long time. Guy needs to stop harassing me. Yikes. I guess I didn't want to take that. My best squat is 523 back squat. Best bench, I don't do that anymore, but it was 330. And best deadlift is 682, 310 kilos. So whatever that makes, 684, 682, I forget exactly what the conversion is. Bench is the worst one, but it's also the one I liked the least when I did powerlifting. I'm glad I stopped when I did. The numbers that all these steroided out teenagers are doing now are just insane. It's kind of sad. You see like a 17-year-old doing like a insane like 700-pound deadlift, and it's just like you're wasting your organs just to do a sumo deadlift. I mean, maybe they're all natural and they just worked harder than everyone else, but something quacks like a duck and looks like a duck. Yeah. The SARMs goblins. I just lost some time. Yikes. Yeah, seeing all those teenagers, I mean, in Olympic weightlifting, at least they're getting the glory of winning medals at championships. Like when it's just a teenager that's just doing it for fun in a gym, it's just destroying their body for something that they don't even know if they truly like. I forget who said this like little bit of philosophy, but I think it was about bodybuilding, but like the people who actually like bodybuilding just do it. I mean, might have been like Greg Doucette, but like if you actually are like really passionate about the sport, you don't need to take steroids to enjoy doing it because it's a slow process. But obviously, if you are someone that wants to be, IFBB pro, then you know what you have to do. And when you're younger, you usually handle the drugs a little bit better, would be from what the Greg Doucette's type people say with that stuff. But it's also like at the end of the day, you just destroy your body for some glory, and maybe that's worth it. I mean, if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger, it'd be hard to argue that it wasn't worth it for him to take drugs, and the stuff that he was taking, I'm sure, wasn't as crazy as the stuff they're doing now. But if you're truly passionate about doing whatever activity, you don't really need to be a SARMs goblin to do it. And people who are older can make that choice if they want to do this or that. I would argue that someone that's a teenager does not have the frontal lobe development to make such a radical decision when it comes to their organs, as it essentially comes down to. Yeah, play faster. If only there was a performance enhancing drug that made you smarter and people took that, might be better for society. But I hope everyone just wants to get yacked, which is what it is. I just pushed that down. I don't know. IDK. I wanted to bring this rook over, but left me with no choice. He drew first blood. I'll also just push this. Just blunder my life away slowly but surely. No, and for me the philosophy about it's like it would be cool to do bigger numbers, but those numbers are only relevant based on what other people do or can do. And it's hard, but it's, I think, important to be accepting of what you can do yourself and to know like it's still not that it's like it's okay to be at whatever numbers that you are, because you should always want to try to increase, but it's okay not to be a world record holder, because it's important that, you know, not that necessarily that most of us who lift weights are doing it only for the health benefits, but if you're just lifting weights and just, you know, roiding out just to say you did more weight, you know, what's the point of that? Are you really going to be doing anything special in your life to where you need to hammer those drugs to such a high extent that that's the only, like, if you're an Olympic weightlifter, you want to be at the Olympics, like that's just what you have to do in order to build enough connective tissue to lift those weights. So it's nothing, there's no getting around it. But if you're just lifting for fun and you're not making any money from it, and it's not just like you're getting some like crappy sponsorship, but like, all right, we have to play fast here. Oh, that's such a crummy way to lose. You know what? We're going to go to rapid so I can actually not lose on time. If you're getting hurt on squats, the most likely thing that's happening is that you're just doing too much weight, or it could be a technical thing, but the biggest, for me, it's like I don't have a choice but to be consistent because it's just fun to lift. And even if I'm like injured or something, I still want to lift. And so what I've found, if I do have like an injury or something I have to work around, is to find things you can still do that that are productive. So if, like, for instance, like you have a hurt back, like you might be able to press a lot, or you might be able to, I don't know, just work on overhead press, or, you know, just do a different lift. That's still productive in some way, but not completely, you know, a machine lift or something like that. And so working around injuries, I think that's something that's just, you kind of have to do if you're going to be lifting weights. I don't know if it's possible to be always injury free. Oh, your brother likes chess. That's addicting. I started when I was in 4th grade and stopped playing for a bunch of years, and then this kind of, my friend started to play and I started to get back into it. But I don't really, I'm not really super serious about it. You know, obviously want to win, but I'm not bent on trying to get to a certain rating or whatnot. Push there, probably. It's more fun than a lot of video games. I don't play any. I only have like one out of the park baseball that I played a little bit. Oh, that's just a pawn. Okay, I thought I lost something more important. And I just kind of got bored with video games, so it's nothing necessarily wrong with them, but I just don't have any that, I don't have like game systems or anything that I can play. I would play NCAA, but unfortunately that's not on a game system because they're just greedy and they want you to buy a game system to play a game that's been only online for a while. So that was one I wanted to play. I would play it if you could buy it on PC, but I'm not spending hundreds of dollars on a PS4. or 5 or whatever it is now. That is certainly not worth. But yeah, as far Cornell is staying consistent, it's just always knowing that you can find something productive to do on any particular day of training, even if you can't do what you have planned. So if like your knees are really sore, you could probably still do pulls. If you really can't even do like deadlifts because they're so sore, you can do RDLs. And if your back is really achy, then there's always something. There's always something you can do. There's some lift that you can find that's productive. And you just have to know that even if you're not making progress, that it is still progress if you're still lifting. Because it doesn't, you don't make progress forever. It'd be nice if you did. But even if you're on all the snozzle in the world, eventually that progress slows down or stops. Otherwise, we'd all snatch 1,000 pounds. We'd all be Lashataladzis. But even amongst the people that take every drug that they can to lift weights, there's many people that are better than them. And I suppose that's another reason that I don't really have any desire to do that stuff. Obviously the health reasons, the cost reasons, but if you start to do that stuff, then you inherently want to compare yourself to other people that are doing that stuff. Me snatching, taking a bunch of roids and snatching 160 isn't really impressive at all, because people at my body weight that are on drugs are doing a lot more. And it's not so much that like I want to be impressive at the weight I'm doing, but you're not breaking any world records or doing anything impressive, so you might as well just do what you can do without it and not pay the costs financially, health-wise. And I don't want to say morally, because it's not really a moral right or wrong, but for me, it's like I also have the family aspect. If I ever were to do that stuff, it would make my mom in particular, but probably both my parents, really sad. And I wouldn't want to do that to them. I think that would be the immoral part to it for me. But I get to live on the mountain of right. Oh no, it's something that's people think about a lot, but for me, I think growing up watching the steroid era in baseball, it kind of just made it something else like I don't ever really want to do. And there's just no incentive for me to either. No incentive. I will say the one caveat to all that is if I was like in my 50s or 60s, and not that TRT often gets a really bad rap, but if like I actually had like a medical diagnosis where I needed to get up to like the minimum testosterone, that'd be kind of my philosophy. I don't need like a baby steroid dose of stuff and say, oh, I'm natural, I'm still in TRT. Like, it would just, whatever the minimum threshold to get up to would be what I would want to try to get up to. I panicked for a second. I thought his queen was here and he could take there, and I somehow didn't have a rook there, but I'm overthinking. He's playing very slow. That's one thing I always forget with Rapid, how slow it goes. Slow boo. I'm still in the blitz mind where it's like, you gotta move, gotta play. That's why I'm at 9 minutes and he's at 6.5. He's not playing better or worse, but I'm literally, whatchamacallit, just playing slow. Or playing too fast. The only thing that's bad is I don't really look at the board in when they're taking forever to play. I just kind of go on another tab or just check out. Because, like, I don't know. What else is there to do? I'm kind of hungry, though. I could probably go make a sandwich before this guy plays. uh, I appreciate it, Cornell. It's a hard philosophy to like exactly describe. Um, yeah, and that's like as long as you know that you're trying to do, and that's how I've rationalized. Not that it's necessarily hard to rationalize, like when you're a kid or whatever, and how you might not have done everything in hindsight, like you could like I could have done this better in practice and I could have trained like this better for whatever sport or whatever thing. But as long as you know at the time that you were trying to work as hard as you can, then um that's all you can ever really do in life in general. So it's not anything you can ever truly change, obviously. But even like now, I like to not necessarily prevent myself from, interacting with other information. It's always good to learn and stuff. But if there's some sort of radical thing that I didn't understand or didn't know, I'm not going to say, well, I'm not going to look back at that. It's like I think of like how I would train for baseball or not really so much basketball because I'm 5'11", so that part was never going to work out. But mostly for baseball, like there's certainly things I could have done a lot better as far as that. But when you're a kid, what are you going to do? That you're not going to know what you don't know. But the same kind of applies to lifting. And as long as you think that you're trying to do as everything as correct as possible, then at the end of the day, that's all you can do, and all you should want to do. You should always want to learn and want to try to improve and stuff. But if the only thing that's keeping you from wanting to improve is like, well, I just want to take roids, then you kind of have to find something else that I don't know, healthy outlet, I suppose. But to me, I like the I think Ivan Jurek kind of contextualizes a lot of my feelings with lifting. That for a while it was hard to exactly describe or like not necessarily understand, because like I understand the emotion of it or like what I want to achieve or what I want to do. I think he just does that and I might just lose, but I don't know. But how he talked about it's just like a puzzle, or it's just something you're trying to always solve, and it's good to hire a coach and all of that, but when you kind of go that route, you kind of lose the problem solving aspect of it. And to me, that's kind of the fun part. And I had that joy with baseball as well, trying to figure out how to throw faster or further, or whatever it happened to be at the time. And if you just kind of immediately go to a coach or whatever, you probably make better progress in general. But the intellectual pursuit is something that is very fun as well. There we go. Probably why I like playing chess a little bit too. Is there steroids for chess though? I might take those. Brain steroids. I want some. If I could have some brain roids, those would be cool. It's actually honestly probably cardiovascular training. Builds the BNDF chemical that allows you to learn better. But I don't think it's gonna make me any better at chess, unfortunately. I've plateaued. So we give up this pawn to mess up his positioning in theory. But he's just a nerd. Just go right down one. Yeah, and it's a double-edged sword with social media, is to see other people doing lifts that For me, I think that it's easier for me to disassociate from someone like a Lash Tahazi or Color Sansara that they've been on drugs their whole life and they're in a whole system, and it's like they're lifting so numbers that are so absurd that it's hard to even understand like how it's even possible. Like I have deadlifted what Lasha can clean jerk, and it does not make any sense to me how he could get that onto his chest and over his head. And the harder part for me is seeing someone that is closer to me in strength. Like, you get really annoyed if someone has a back squat similar to mine and they can jerk a lot more weight than I can, because I know that it's a deficiency that I have, but it's something that I got to get better at, of course. But when you see that to me is more frustrating than the I don't even want to call them genetic anomalies. I mean, like, they're obviously very athletic people, but they're superhuman in a lot of ways that are not really of much interest for me to compare to. I think that's probably the other big untold thing with a lot of the big lifters. They just have a whole lifetime of elite coaching and all of the drugs, and so like that combination just makes it pretty easy to be really good at weightlifting. Let's see. Not that I would be Lash Tallahassee in his situation, but I think that if I were just take a pawn. If I were in the Russian system, I would be someone that would be like a 180, 220. I think, especially at my body weight, I think that's a pretty conservative thing that I would be able to do with like, a Russian system and a lifetime of training. But you don't get to pick the life that you're born in. And in a lot of ways, I'm very glad of the life that I have. Because, well, it'd be fun to lift those weights. It's just lifting weights at the end of the day. And there will always be someone that lifts more unless your name's Lasha. And there's only one Lasha. And I am not him. But, yeah, it is... comparing yourself to others is certainly very difficult. I think that's one thing that I like with having so many of my old lifting videos online, is if I ever get in that, not necessarily like I would say a dark state, but like having that nostalgia of looking back of like where I was 10 years ago, lifting wise, and just how I looked physically. At least now is fun to look at because I know that I'm stronger and stuff. I'm sure like once I'm old, it will be sad. I'll be more nostalgic about the times where I could, do all the lifting I'm doing now. But I still think I have, like 15 more years of pretty hard lifting that I can do in this fashion before it really starts to deteriorate. And that's obviously, not necessarily accounting for like a major injury or something, but obviously after that point I'm still going to exercise and lift weights and stuff, but like really push my Olympic weightlifting. And if I'm wrong, then it's like it's not the worst thing to be wrong about. But I don't want to be like, well, once I'm 35 then I'm all done, but I also don't want to be like I have all the time in the world. So you have to hold both views simultaneously, because it's important to understand that time is not unlimited, but there's always more time. So you don't want to rush in the moment, but at the same time, you don't want to not work hard because you think you have forever to do it. I started weightlifting pretty late in life, so I think I'm at a pretty good level for someone that started when they're 23, 24. And not even doing it full time, just doing it along with powerlifting, and never having a coach. Even if I never got better at it, it's kind of a weird feeling to have, because there wasn't a moment where I was like, oh, I threw my last baseball, or I threw the fastest baseball I'll ever throw, and I'll never throw faster again. But with like when you lift weights, it's you always like to think that you're going to get stronger, but at some point you're not. And in some way, I feel like I've accepted that. I snatched 135 one time with straps, and it was an ugly lift, but I did it. And it's like, even if I never get more than that, I at least know that that I did it, which is of course, a good thing, but also like it's a pretty high level for someone that's just doing it for fun essentially and doesn't have extreme athletic ability. Like I wasn't a high level football player with all the strength in the world. Like I had to really push to get where I was able to snatch whatever weight. And getting to like, I would say even like 100 kilogram snatch like is really impressive. But like for me, getting up to the 120 and 125 and stuff is no, obviously more than that. But getting to those levels, that's like I've kind of not necessarily achieved everything that I can, but it's like I'm really satisfied that if I never got stronger, that like I kind of did a good job of training at least. And maybe that's just some sort of like egotistical thing, but way back when I started, I want to snatch 275. That was like, in pounds, that was like a big number I wanted to do. And it was like long term, I want to do 315. I always, being an American, thinking in pounds. Now I still want to do 140 and 170. I'm certainly think I'm a lot closer to doing 170 than I am to 310. But I mean 140. But I still think both are possible, and even if you could read the future and you told me that it wasn't, I still feel like I would still want to train weightlifting because it's fun. And I think that will keep me coming back when I'm older. I think the only reason I would stop doing it is if it was like really painful to do. If it was just like, I had a wrist injury and I just couldn't hold a front rack, or my shoulder just, locked up and I couldn't do it. It'd be something like that, not me not wanting to do the sport. But even after that point, I'll just lift weights because it's what I do. It's fun to lift weights. It's fun to have a goal and to have something you're trying to achieve, but I kind of just like lifting weights in general too. I'll be that weird old guy that's really muscular for no reason. Although there's a lot of older people that are kind of jacked now because of all the TRT people too. I won't look red. I suppose that's another reason too that I don't want to partake is as a kid in puberty I had not horrible acne, but I had acne and I did not enjoy it. And also I was genetically gifted in a terrible way to get gynecomastia as a 12-year-old. So that was not fun to go through. And it wasn't like crazy severe because I was skinny. That's honestly the worst part. And anything you ever see about it, it's like, oh yeah, you're fat, so just lose weight. And like, well, what if you are hyper skinny as a teenager? I was not fat ever, and then getting it. So that was a fun experience. And I don't really look forward, or I wouldn't look forward to getting any sort of the other side effects that one could get with that stuff. Obviously, there's Mike Israel has talked about some of the cognitive side effects as well, and those don't sound particularly fun either. So I don't think I'd want to experience those. But if I were a Russian child in a Russian weightlifting system, I'm sure I would have no problem with it and would have done it. Would have done everything to get to the top. But I am a phys ed teacher, so not really worth it. Yeah, I started lifting. I mean, my dad lifted weights in our basement, so he was always, he's actually lifted weights really consistently forever, which is probably some sort of genetic thing that I have a gift at being consistent about stuff like that. But I saw him lifting, so I eventually wanted to lift as well. And the thing that really got me to do any sort of training when I was in fifth/sixth grade. So it was the spring of my 5th grade year, I think, is when it happens, when I broke my arm. And so my dad gave me some rehab exercises to do, essentially just stuff to like strengthen my forearm and my hand, because I had nerve damage in my fingers from how I broke my arm. Let me just do this. And some rotator cuff exercises. So nothing that was radical, but just lighter stuff. So if I go here, he goes there. I have to go here. Yeah, so we don't want to do that. I think he just kind of gets to do that for free. I think we're still okay though. Got lots of time. But yeah, that got me into doing, and it was actually some wrist stuff too, some wrist roller stuff. I got it, Cornell. I'm on the way. But that got me to do some stuff, and then in middle school, I started to lift a little bit, but it wasn't very consistent because I had baseball and then basketball all winter. So it wasn't anything that was, it's when I started to do some lifting. I think we just do that. I think we're chilling. And then, so that was like 7th and 8th grade, just whatever stuff with dumbbells. Wasn't even like, no squats or anything like that. But middle or high school, I lifted with the team. And so we had like, team lifting or whatever. But my freshman year, I played basketball. So that was like, I couldn't keep weight on. I was, obviously a teenager, but also like extremely active. And I've always had trouble gaining weight. So there was a non-starter. But once I quit basketball after my freshman year, and I spent all winter lifting when I was 15, so my sophomore year of high school, that's when I gained a lot of weight. Basically like a steroid cycle, being a teenager and losing all of that previous basketball activity. Essentially, it was just able to gain weight. I wasn't in just fighting to maintain my skinny self. But yeah, I went from like 130 when I got my permit, something like 130, maybe 135, but I was like 155 at the end of winter that year. And then by the time I finished high school, I was up to like 170. So I was, relatively little compared to, where I am at now, but just the act of not playing basketball allowed me to gain weight tremendously well. And I think that's, that's where I think I have a pretty good genetic makeup to lift weights, is for stuff like that, where I've just slowly over the years gained weight. When I started teaching in 2016, I had just cut down to 180 for this like online powerlifting meet. So I was down at 180, but I was truly like, like 190 at that time. And at different points of college, I was up to 200. And so I kind of, fluctuated a little bit. But so when I started teaching, I was like 185, like day one. And now it was 233 this morning, but I've been kind of sitting there for a while. And this is just a free pawn. But I never really had a big bulk or a big cut other than that powerlifting meet. And it wasn't really that big of a cut. It was like 5 pounds. Just slowly tried to gain weight since then. The slow bulk. Seeing the Omar Esofs and those guys always doing bulks and cuts every other day made me realize that, thankfully realize how stupid it is to do that, and to in fact not do that. because it is literally pointless to just gain in bulk and cut perpetually. Thanks, Rand. I hope you're doing well. Wish your last name was Rand Paul. Be pretty cool. I think we... No. So if I go there, he goes there, and then I cry. We want to avoid the tears. D4. See, I thought about that though. If I move to D4 there though, he just takes the pawn with the knight, and I can't take back. I have to take the queen, then he takes over. So I just lost a pawn. So that was my original thought, but I didn't think it would work. I got scared. I see what you're talking about. I see what you're putting down. What's up, Reed? It's been a very nice chat today, talking about just normal stuff. There hasn't been any sort of extreme shenanigans. All right. What do you think, Cornell? Not really. So I just stretch and stuff because tomorrow I'm going to be doing EMOMs and stuff. I'm just going to make this guy sit here for a bit to see if he wants to just resign. But yeah, yeah. Queen does take... but yeah, I just stretched and stuff a little bit and walked around my house a lot. No, he doesn't see it. It's my move too, Cornell, so we're chilling. I'm just making him sweat it out a little bit. Just sitting here. I could send him a chat, but I'm just chilling. But yeah, tomorrow, EMOMs. I'm gonna start my snatch ones at 90, and clean jerks at 110, and then whatchamacallit, see how squats and stuff feel. My little knee thing earlier this week, I was still able to squat the day after just fine, so I don't think it's anything that's I need to be too worried about. But after doing heavier snatches and clean and jerks, then I might not might be irritated a little bit, so might not be good. I hate the English opening. I hate anything that's not normal. As far as it comes to chess. That's how I'm going to get canceled, saying something like that about chess. But, work was good. I actually got sunburnt. I was outside Monday and Tuesday all day since they were using the gym for in a little event / like assembly thing for one of the grade levels. So not Monday, but actually Tuesday, it was like 60 degrees, and I got sunburnt. I should have wore a hat, but I didn't realize it was going to be that sunny all day. Yeah, you don't know, Cornell, how much I can blunder. I can blunder all day. Cornell is a very simple thing. So when I was in second grade, first grade, really when I was a little kid, my dad's a phys ed teacher as well. So I saw him go to work in swishy pants, what I call the pants that have that like mesh material. And thought to myself, well, if this sport thing doesn't work out, because I always wanted to be, a professional athlete, as a lot of little kids do. And I was like, I could be a gym teacher. I could play in the gym all day. Like, what could be a better job? And honestly, my little kid brain was certainly correct about that. Like, I can't imagine a better job than being, especially now, a K-2 phys ed teacher. I can't imagine having a better job. The stress that I have is pretty minimal. I just get to have fun and just play all day. Kids are really easily motivated because they're younger, so they still want to do all the stuff that you have planned. And obviously the summer's off, and for me, I get paid well. And I don't have kids or anything, so I don't have bills like that. So I really get paid well in that regard. And I'm just lucked out because I can't really, especially at this juncture of my life, like I can't imagine doing something else in my day that, I don't know, it's weird too, because you have teachers that are like the extreme passionate about their job, and it's like all they want to do, and it's like they do all the extra stuff, and I'm not certainly like that, but it's like I like teaching more than I would like to do any other thing. And it doesn't mean that it's all I think about, so I'm obsessed with it. I go in 4 hours early to play, and it's just it's my job, and I really like it. And I think it's easy to feel bad when you're not obsessed with it, but it's just like weightlifting. Not everyone's going to be obsessed about exercise and lifting weights and stuff as much as I am. Not good. And we just gotta bite the bullet. Yeah, but really saw my dad doing it, and I was like, this looks awesome. I want to do this. And went into college, not actually as a phys ed major. As per my parents, they said, we're not paying for a phys ed degree because they paid for my college. Another huge benefit that I had is not having college debt. So I'm very privileged in that regard. They're like, we're not paying for a phys ed degree because you won't be able to get a job. They are really hard to get. And I'm just getting cooked this game for sure. Getting absolutely slammed. But at my college, I was a special ed major, and then I was going to be a Spanish minor. And took one semester of Spanish, and I said I did not like how they taught it. I did not enjoy it. I thought I liked Spanish in high school, and I was decent at it. And I'm actually better at Spanish now than I was in college, but I just hated so much how it was taught that it was so unmotivating. I was like, I can't learn Spanish here. Like I'm simply just not going to learn with how, and it was just like watching videos and stuff. And when I, expressed that to my parents, of course, my dad, who didn't want me to do a phys ed thing, was like, why don't you double major in phys ed? And it's kind of funny because like I had, I thought it, wasn't allowed to do that. But with the double major, logic pretty sound, because it actually worked out perfect to where I was able to get a job as a special ed teacher, not as phys ed in my first, when I was looking out of college. But then after a couple of years of special ed, I was able to transfer finally at the district I was previously at into phys ed, and then able to do that for 4 years before the district collapsed, essentially financially. Yeah, 100%. And that's like, it's by far the biggest blessing that I've had in life, really, because there's so many people that have college debt and stuff, and is very lucky just to be set up for success. Like it would be hard. It would have been hard for me to be unsuccessful. And there's the lucky part for me. So my parents set me up really well, getting me in the position that I was able to get a job and not have debt and all of that. But by far the luckiest thing was after having my apartment for a year. So I was a first year teacher, worked for a year and lived in an apartment down here. And my buddy wanted to move out of his uncle's house, and I wanted to move out of the apartment because you don't want to just pay rent forever. And so I wanted to buy a house. And thankfully in 26 or 17, one could still afford a house. A first year teacher who had saved his money was actually able to afford a house, the house that I'm in now, and could not afford this house now in that situation. But thankfully, times were better then. And so I was able to... I'm just kind of... I don't know what he wants to do. I'm down 6 points of material. Yeah, something like that could be good, but it's one of those weird things too. It's like, I think it's a good job and I enjoy it, but it's also one of those things that's like, you have to, I don't know, if you already have like a job, like it's hard for me to be like, you should want to switch everything to go into teaching, because you're just losing so much money. And if your job isn't that bad, it's almost better to kind of like stick with it. They're buying it and they're very expensive. That's how they're buying it. It's absurd. My roommates, I'm just, this guy's just being annoying. Oh, but yeah, you just have to spend a lot of money and it's absurd. But even my interest rate, so like I bought the house in 2017 and so I guess my whole 2016 to 2020, it was Trump's first term, but the interest rate, yes. Yeah, and here's the good part, Reed. So I forget what my interest rate originally was when I bought my house. I want to say it was like 4 or 5%, but during Trump, the first election, so sometime in 2018, I think, or 2019, I think it was 2018 when I refinanced, but the interest rates were super low. So I got my interest rate down to 2.75. And with my bank, it was essentially free to refinance. It was like $250. So I didn't have to pay closing costs to do it. So I literally got so lucky that I was able to afford a house. The interest rate is crazy low. And obviously I have, a lot of equity built up in the house now. I think I still have like $27,000 left to pay but like there's no incentive for me to pay it off early because of underwater welder. That is I've heard that pays extremely well, but it's also extremely dangerous. So you could also, it is possible, I don't know how possible, but if you do have like experience, and actually my teaching partner now, her husband works in a high school, but he works for I forget what it's like something tech, but he is not like a teacher of the school, I guess. Like he teaches automotive or he does something like that, but he's like a technical teacher. So he still teaches kids and whatnot. And I think he gets all the same benefits as a teacher. So he, pay and whatnot. But he's hired through like the county to do something. And so if you have like a welding certificate or you have like, I don't know how to get into that or anything related to that, but I know there are teaching jobs that you could do that would be, could be related to welding or something that's like technical in nature. And I don't know, and what I don't know about her husband, as well as like, I don't know if he was just like a normal teacher at some point and then did that, or if he was always in like a technical field and then decided to, go into teaching like that. So that's certainly not my expertise, since I just went to college for teaching and immediately went into teaching. But there are routes to become a teacher, whether it's, in a school like with high schoolers or middle school or whatever, or of adults where you can still be a teacher and obviously still get a lot of the benefits of teaching something. Particularly like if you have like certifications related to your welding and stuff, that I would imagine would be of high demand of a lot of technical schools. But then again, I am not an expert at that sort of thing. But I think that would be the route to go, honestly. I think it would be a lot easier than getting like a full degree, or like, going to school for 4 years to get a bachelor's in teaching or whatever. But conversely, I will also say this. I do, one paraprofessional at my school is doing a master's in education. So she had or has a psychology bachelor's, so something unrelated to teaching directly. And with any sort of undergraduate, you can build and blunder your rooks like me, but you can work towards a teaching degree via master. So then you start teaching at a higher rate. Oh, that's a good question. So when I refinanced, it was for 10 years. And so I suppose that would be my only regret is that I didn't just do like a 30 year at such a low rate. But let me look that up. I don't mind sharing. I'm not like I'm winning this chess game anyway. So I pay like $50 extra on the principal. So it's at least for me, it feels like a decent chunk. But I know for some other people that have like the houses now, it's a lot different. So let's look back at my last mortgage. Well, I paid $850, but I paid a little bit extra on the principal. So let's go to my mortgage and see what the minimum is. And this one's lost. We're going to reset. Let's see if this loads up. So my minimum is $798.50, and then I pay the $52 extra on the principal to make it $850. I had for a while paid even more on the principal, but with the rate that low, there's not really much point. So, because really the last thing I need to save up for is the last bit of my grad school, which I have. It's not as if I have to necessarily save up for, but that's like my last big expense, and then a car if I want to, eventually do that. But my car is working fine now, and so I'm not really worried about doing that. yeah, Cornell used to. If you had a time machine, you could go and get a nice interest rate. But I mean, hopefully they drop back down. But unfortunately, I don't think they will for a little while. Because I, in theory, would like to eventually buy it. That's way down the line. But yeah, financially is pay for grad school, and then my teaching salary will go up next year because of the master's. But yeah, Cornell, what was I saying? If you can look, there's programs where you can get a master's in education, even if you have a bachelor's in whatever, and then you can start teaching or have the ability to teach, and then you start at a higher point. And there's probably programs that are related to ESL as well that are like getting a master's or a certification related to that. But I also don't know how pay works, like how good the pay is for ESL. Obviously, like if traveling is a desire, then that's a non-financial thing to consider, because it's like summers off for teaching. Like it's such a great thing to have that it's like it's hard to put like the value financially on something like that. As I blunder a pawn, that's the B2 pawn, because he didn't want to take it. I always wonder if I'm older, if I want to travel more. I have like no desire to travel now. I'm like, I have summers off and I just don't go anywhere. I don't have any desire to like go places and do anything. Um, I suppose if I had a significant other, then they might like make me more likely to want to go and do stuff. But I've always like, I could travel. I could go to this gym, like where I could just sleep in every day, and that sounds just as nice. But maybe once I'm older and I'm not really concerned about lifting consistently, then maybe I'll actually want to go places. But traveling costs money. That's the crappy thing. It's not cheap to go. Even if I was just driving somewhere, it's not cheap to drive anywhere or to do anything. And I do have the beautiful gift of not wanting to do anything. So, gift or a curse, depending on how you look at it. But for saving money and not being broke, it certainly is a luxury when you don't really like. And I'm like, oh, I wish I could go out and like do. I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere, and it's the cheapest thing, the cheapest disposition to have. That is for sure. But I'd say it's a gift. I think it's a certainly a. There's certainly a lot more positive to that because I'd rather not be on the other end and be like an extreme extrovert and always want to go out and do stuff. Um, I can't imagine being that kind of person. That does not does not feel like it would be very enjoyable. It feels very stressful because you're always chasing that like social high. For me, I socialize enough at school, and even if I didn't talk to anyone ever when I trained, I'd be okay. But I talk to adults obviously and kids obviously at school, but then I socialize at the gym as well. And usually my cup's pretty full. I don't usually go to school and then go to the gym and say I need to go and socialize more. Usually, I'm usually pretty good, but who knows? Yeah. Maybe my whole disposition will change as I get older, but I don't think that's usually how things work like that. And I've always kind of been like that as a kid. I never really wanted to do stuff on weekends and stuff. It's just watch TV with my parents. Certainly probably made it less stressful for my parents that I didn't go out and get into shenanigans that teenagers normally do. I just watched MASH and Two and a Half Men with my parents. Yeah, and like I get the appeal of traveling because it is cool to like see. I don't like the extreme stuff, but like I get the appeal of wanting to go and see things in person and seeing like cool places. That was it was I don't know. It's hard to even say like I was being a good kid. It's just like I didn't want to do stuff. So it was good by default. It's easy to be a good kid when you literally don't actually desire to go out and do stuff. It's like the whole like peer pressure thing to do drugs and stuff. Is like I never had that because I never went anywhere. Unless my parents were gonna peer pressure me to do stuff, and they did not, thankfully. But yeah, it's when I was like that, I'm like, yeah, I was never like I had friends that had done that stuff or weed or whatever, but like it's like yeah, I never had that. I had Dare as a kid, and I know a lot of that's kind of goofy, but like I never had anyone like offer me anything ever, and a lot of that's just because I wasn't in those situations. And it wasn't even like I surrounded myself with good people. I didn't surround myself with anyone. I just didn't go anywhere. Played sports. If I had to play sports, I would think I would have a lot of problems socially. That was like literally the only thing I did to be social, and that's always kind of been the case, I guess, now with the gym and lifting and stuff. But it is, it is what it is. Kind of scared in this position, not gonna lie. I mean, honestly, probably like the biggest like change or traveling I did was moving down here to teach. 'Cause I'm like 3.5 hours from my parents, and my college was like an hour and a half, or an hour, not an hour and a half, an hour away from my house. So I wasn't super close when I went to college. So I'm used to not being like, directly with my parents or whatever, with that. But I wasn't necessarily even uncomfortable like being away from home. I kind of enjoyed it. So it's kind of a weird dichotomy where I wasn't a homebody in that sense. There. I even stayed at college once for it was like Thanksgiving or or maybe it was fall break. It was one of like the shorter holidays, and I just didn't go home. There wasn't anything to do, so I watched How I Met Your Mother. I watched the entire series because I was bored. It's back when Netflix was good. That's probably another weird thing. I don't have any, like, I have YouTube Premium, but I don't have any streaming services unless you count YouTube Premium. But I don't have like YouTube TV or Netflix or anything. So I just don't watch movies or anything. There's just, if I want to watch something, I watch YouTube, and that's it. Probably not the best if I wanted to date. There's nothing to watch. I don't have any streaming services, but it's probably why, I don't know, that's probably another thing too, is like I don't really have that. I realize like older I get, the harder it will be to date someone, but I just don't really feel lonely, and I try to disassociate and try to think like, am I just coping, or am I that sounds pretty cool. that and that's what like and that's what I try to think about, Reed. It's like, am I just saying that because I am, or is it like I feel like I have a hole that, like, the only thing that I desire is to be able to have a dog, and that's the only reason I don't is because I'm not home enough to take care of it, and I feel unethical to just have a dog that's in a crate all day, or not getting that attention. But when I think about the idea of a relationship is something I'm not opposed to, or like anything regarding that, but it's so much effort. It's so much, there's so much effort and work that goes into it, and I would have to potentially, someone of me is not going to be as into the gym as I am, so I'm going to have to make adjustments like that. Yeah, and that's like, if I'm in a relationship, I'd be good, but it's like that start part, like that, and also like with how expensive everything is, like going on a date just to dinner be such a financial investment, such a high cost to do, and you're going on multiple dates, and then it doesn't work out. Like, that's a lot of money I'm putting down for food for two people, and for something that, like, you know if you're gonna like the person or it's gonna work out great or whatever like that. And I try to think about it and not try to just ignore it, but it's something that I've like thought about, and like, you try to use dating apps for whatever, any of that stuff, but I think, like, am I okay being single because that's truly, like, I'm truly okay with it, or is it just a cope because I'm single, so of course I'm okay with it because it's just, but I've always, for the most part, always been kind of like that, and I don't have a problem going to an empty house. In some sense, it's relaxing because there's nothing to do, which is a good thing. There's not any expectations. But I don't know. I think that's where, when you go through a lot of teacher training, you kind of realize a lot of your dispositions are probably, spectrum related in some way. Because I was certainly a weird kid in that regard. I have traits for sure. When I think you were kind of like at like the advantageous part of a relationship where you have the routine to where you're not, I don't want to say you're not building, because you're always kind of always building a relationship, but actually it's a good comparison to lifting. You're not learning how to lift. You're not learning how to if you like this, your wife, hopefully, but you are in this and you have that. It's kind of like weightlifting. Like you're doing it, you already know that you like it, you're going to keep doing it. And so it's already there. And it's not like you're having to worry about, is your wife going to, hopefully, maybe I'm just protecting you. I assume you're in a happy relationship, but like, it's a pretty stable and happy thing versus like being in a new relationship. There's a lot more apprehension, a lot more new stuff with that. So like for me, if I was, married to someone or, all that jazz, like I wouldn't be like opposed to it or be like, that's what I don't want to have happen. But to get to that point is a really difficult thing. It is really difficult. And it's for me in one sense too, is because I don't like to go places. It's obviously going to be difficult to meet people. And I'm not going to go to a bar or something like if I go to a bar or go out and I meet someone, it's not going to be someone that I would want to date because they would be someone that likes to go out, and that's not how I am. So it's hard to meet a homebody when you are also a homebody. But I try not to be opposed to it and try not to be as oblivious as I usually am. But I definitely think that so when I was a wee lad, it took me a while to talk, and that's a trait of some things. And when I was little, I would sit with a race car, a little car on the carpet, and just look at it going back and forth. And my parents said I would talk, but it was gibberish. So I would sound like I was talking, but it wasn't really talking, or at least I wasn't talking in like normal language. And a lot of things made me realize that it probably, like, in a lot of ways, got really lucky that I found sports, because that really, I won't say taught me how to socialize, but it was really the big key. He's running out of time and I'm playing bad. Not good. Let's see. But having like social anxiety a little bit, I'm sure it's obviously not, I'm not super happy to be in public and all of that stuff. But I don't know. It's one of those things that, like, I don't know if it's a thing or not, and it's already how I am, so it's how I will be. And thankfully, I don't have any of the extreme things that make it difficult to live life. And obviously, I talk all day as a teacher. I'm sitting here on a live stream. I'm not uncomfortable in that regard, but there are certainly traits that I have. Let's see. I mean, he has 19 seconds. I feel like I am vibing still. I can't possibly lose, right? I have to survive for 15 seconds. I'm not doing a very good job of it. Some might say doing a terrible job. See if he can figure it out. I think he can. Oh, I just outplayed him. Just my brain was too big. It was mate and two. Yeah, I didn't have a lot more moves left. Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, but I don't know. To me, it's one of those things that's like, I'm not really that worried about it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If I am forever single, I will retire and buy 5 beagles and be a happy retired man, because I will be able to retire potentially when I'm 53. So that's still pretty young. So I'm excited about that because I started teaching at 23, and they might knock the years down for retirement, for full retirement, to 30. And so I'll have that advantage when I'm older. It's either 53 or, I mean, currently it's 50, it would be 58. I think it's 35 years, but they're knocking it down to 33, I think. Either they have already or they will. And then there's talk that they want to knock it down in 30 in a couple of years, which obviously I have a bunch more years of teaching before I'm at that point. So mid 50s will be quite young for being done working, which will be a fun thing. And that's I spent time thinking about that, and obviously getting dogs and stuff would be cool, just having those all day. But that would also be like, maybe that's when I'd want to travel, because I would still be young enough to obviously be mobile enough to travel and be able to enjoy going places, but I also wouldn't be really probably concerned about my lifting so much when I'm in my 50s. I probably still want to lift weights, but I'm not going to be worried about lifetime PR on various lifts, probably. So I don't know, maybe my retirement, because I would like to live to be 100, but you can kind of plan for maybe 30 more years after you retire. 35 more years. I think that would get me to 88. So that'd be pretty dope if I got to that point. Got to like 80 years old. But I don't know. I think about that stuff off and on, but to me, all you can really do in life is control what you have going on in the moment, and trying to be as productive as you can each day, and trying to progress towards your various goals. So whether that's getting grad school done or getting stronger and all that stuff, it's all I can control. And that's it's much easier to worry about that than trying to worry about how other people react in a relationship or stuff like that, or trying to find someone like that and go through all that stress. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'll have 5 beagles. So I have that to look forward to. But I'm gonna go eat some food and then go to bed, and then get ready for some big lifts tomorrow, and hopefully feel pretty good. I've been drinking a crap ton of water today too, so I should be super hydrated as well. So hopefully that is the case. But yeah, I'm down 21 points of material. Caught the dub because he did not pay attention to time. But yep, I'll see you tomorrow, Reed. Thanks for stopping by and listen to my ranting and raving about everything. But have a good night. Happy Saturday.